Hi everyone, it's Kate from the Podline. I am back this week to talk handmade Christmas presents. So if you haven't started making them, we've got 5 weeks, team. We need to get going. I have created a blog post with loads and loads of options, and I've sort of shortlisted some of my favourites to talk about here. So there will be a link down below to everything I've mentioned, but specifically the blog post, which has more options. And I try to kind of split things up to sort of make it easier for you. There's a section for sewing for men, sewing for women. There's a unisex section, so if you wanted to just buy one pattern that you could sew for like multiple members of your family. I've got a pet section, obviously I couldn't resist. Someone, an accessory lovers. I've also got a really nice section with patterns for fellow craft lovers. So sort of split it up like that. And then I've got a short list of things to talk about now. So I'm going to get cracking because there's quite a lot to talk you through and there's some good things. So we're going to start for women's patterns. I've got 2 options here and there's 6 options in the blog post. The first one I've got, which I've picked, so I'll just say, I've picked patterns which I think are, one, not too difficult for you guys to make, because I personally feel like making things a little bit easier to give as gifts. That's my way of approaching it. It take a bit less time. So I picked things that I think are semi-easy for us to make, but also things that have been really popular this year that I think most people would like in terms of a style. So the women's patterns, the first 2 I've got to talk to you about are the True Bias Marlowe sweater. I picked this because I just think, who doesn't want a cardigan? There are 2 different length options for this. So let me get started. So this is a paper and a PDF pattern. It comes in sizes UK 8 to 30. One is cut with a C cup, one is cut with a D cup. So line drawings, you can see here there are 2 different options. There is a sort of more cropped version that comes sort of just below the waist, and then there's a slightly longer version. They've got buttons down the front, there's patch pockets on the longer version. Obviously, you know who you're going to be making for. I personally prefer the shorter one. I feel like that one is more useful. Potentially, you could wear that with a dress and jeans. Yeah, that would be but obviously you know who you're making for. So that is the kind of first women's one. I think it's it's also not hugely trend based. It's something that you can wear over and over again each season, which is quite important. So next up in the women's, we've got the Paper Theory Agnes pyjama set. So this is probably the most complicated of the women's patterns that I've put in. I love this pyjama set. Handmade pyjamas are probably the most gorgeous gift I think you can give. I put these ones in specifically because they're a little bit easier to make. They've got a grown-on sleeve. There's a short option and a kind of trouser option. It doesn't have loads and loads of the Carolyn pyjamas from Closet Core Patterns, which are beautiful. Those are so involved and complicated, which is great if you're making them for yourselves, but if you're making them for someone else, I feel like you want to spend a little bit less time. Unless you've got loads and loads of time, I feel like if you're slightly more time poor, this Paper Theory option is better. So this comes in paper and PDF. It is available in sizes UK 6 to 30. The great thing also with a great size range is that you can then make it for multiple people if you want to. Yeah, so that is also good. The other option is, just thinking about this, if you are going to make the same pattern for multiple people, it might be worth buying it as a PDF and getting copy shop for it so that you could get it printed a couple of times so you don't have to trace it off if you want to save yourself some time. And that would then save you, like half an hour to an hour of tracing off it in multiple different sizes. So that's an option. So yeah, I think this would be good. I like the idea that you can make this for a teenager, you could make this for your mother, you can make this for a sister-in-law or I feel like this is a kind of real kind of core crowd pleaser. So those are two of the women's, so make sure you go and check out the blog post so you can see the rest. Men's, two options for men. I have put, which I spoke about quite recently, the Merchant and Mills Billy Gilet. I put this one in because I feel like this is a really, I think loads of men would love this. I think it's a really good layering piece. It's quite useful. It's quite easy to make as well. If I show you the line drawing, you can see. So it's kind of based on to me, it's a mixture of a waistcoat and a workwear jacket. So I think this would be something that quite a lot of men would like. I think you can make it in lots of different fabrics. So it's available in PDF only. There is copy shop available. It comes in sizes for men's 34 to 54. Again, if you wanted to make this for multiple members of your family, because let's be honest, if you can do a bit of batch sewing, that sort of speeds it up. Again, you could just buy this and then add copy shop, you know, add a couple of extra sheets of it so that then you don't have to kind of trace them off, although it would be quite a speedy trace, this one, so it might not be as necessary. But yeah, I thought this would be something that again would appeal to quite a few members of your family, and I think it's great. So that's the first of the menswear. The second menswear option is one that has been super popular for quite a long time. I know loads of people have made it for members of their family, and it's gone down really well. So it's the True Bias Hudson's pants for men. It's available as a PDF only. For this one, it comes in sizes with a waist of 28 to 42 inches. You can see from the line drawing, it's a really nice simple pair of joggers. They've got elasticated around the hem, which is quite back in for men at the moment. They're just really popular. Obviously you can wear them to do exercise and you can wear them around the house. You could make them in festive fabrics for people in your family. I think you could probably also make this in a lighter weight jersey and have them as pyjama bottoms as well. So you can kind of you use one pattern for multiple different things, which I quite like to do. It saves money. So that was my first, yeah, those were my kind of two men options. There is more, as I said, on the blog post. So if we're thinking unisex pattern and we want something that, you know, can span a lot of different people, again, the named Laha unisex dressing gown, which I know I've harped on about quite a lot, but I do think it is probably the best dressing gown pattern out there. Personal preference. I think it's fab. So it comes as a paper and a PDF option for this. It comes in sizing UK extra small to extra extra large. It's unisex, so you can make it for men or women, which is great. It's really nice and simple. It's although you're using quite a lot of fabric, that's probably the only downside of this pattern. The construction is really simple, and again, if you want to make things for multiple members of your family, you can definitely batch make this, which I quite like. And you could buy, if you've got kind of fabrics that kind of work well together, you could have mix and match. You could have kind of, you know, the band round to the neckline could be in a contrast fabric that's the kind of, you know what I mean? So you can like kind of use up all your fabric and not have anything left over, which is definitely what we want. So I thought that was a really good kind of unisex option. If you have someone who is a kind of fellow craft person, someone who's quite creative, I've got two really lovely patterns that I wanted to talk to you about. Excuse me. The first one is the So Liberated Studio Tunic. This is a PDF only. It comes in sizes UK 6 to 34. I think this is such a fab pattern. So it's basically like a kind of like an apron, but it doesn't have any ties. You just pull it on over your head. It's got lovely big deep pockets and really useful for anyone who makes anything. So this could be people who bake, people who sew, people who knit, people who paint, anything, you know, vaguely creative that you get a bit messy with. I think this is such a lovely thing, and I really like that it's different from an apron. I think the fact you just pull it on over your head, actually someone who is into ceramics, this would be quite useful for. you can keep all your stuff, kind of your bits, in your pockets as well, so then it kind of lives. Say you were lucky enough to have space where you were creative, you could just pull it on every day and it's got your kind of bits already in the pockets. But I just think it's really fantastic. It's been so popular and I think it's a really nice pattern. Again, if you've got a couple of people who are creative in your family, you can batch make these, which is what we're all about. So that was my first option. The second option is, I don't know if you've ever seen these. I did talk about these quite a long time ago, but I think they're really, really lovely patterns. So they're called Lazenby patterns. She's got a few of them, but I've just featured one. It's a project bag. So the concept is with this bag, and it's called the Samphire Duffel, this one in particular, which is my personal favourite of them all. But the idea is that they are constructed, and you can see if I show you the inside of them, they've got pockets all the way around the kind of edge of it, so that you can put all your kind of bits that go with the project that you're making. Specifically, I think, you know, if you're a knitter or crocheter or anything that has, you know, kind of yarns, I think this is a really lovely, or if you sew tapestry, you can pop it all in there. And the idea that you have all your project in there, and every time you want to work in it, you use it and then pop it back. And there's loads of lovely little details, like there's a little tab which you can have all of your, I'm not a knitter, but you know those little counting rings. There's a little kind of tab that you can hook them all onto. There's loads of pockets around the edge so you can put in the pattern that you're working on, all of your knitting needles that you need, anything else. And it's quite happy. I think it's particularly useful for, say, for someone who like needlework stuff, where you can take your project with you wherever you go. I love the idea that you just pick it up and leave and you know you've got everything. So they've got a few other patterns, so do go and have a look, because I think they're really great, and if you just want to make something for yourself, this is a good way to go. So then I've got the pet department, and actually it's dog themed because there wasn't any kind of cat costumes that I thought would work. The Merchant and Mills Barker coat, which I spoke about a few weeks ago, I think this is a really fantastic option for people with dogs. Again, you could batch make this for families and friends, pets. If you've got a parent or, you know, with multiple pets, you can make them for all of the dogs if you're feeling very generous. But it's quite a speedy make. I don't think it would take you that long. You do need a little bit of hardware, but once you've got that, you're kind of good to go. I reckon you could whip this up in a few hours, and whoever you give it to as a dog owner would be absolutely delighted with this. I can vouch for that. So this is a PDF only, I should say. Then I've got a section kind of this is a section for difficult gifters. I don't know about you, but there is always at least one member of the family that you don't know, or a family friend that you've got to buy a gift for or make a gift for, that you don't know what to give them, and they're really difficult. So I've got two options for this. So the first one is the Thread Theory elastic wallet. I think this is a really useful item for anyone. The great thing about this is I know that Thread Theory specialise in men's pattern, and this is definitely geared more towards men. I actually think this is perfect unisex pattern. I would love a card holder like this. So the cool thing about it is it's got this little tab on it as well, where you can hook on your key ring, which I think is really useful. So then you've got your key and your wallet together, because I don't know about you, but I lose everything. So I would really love that. And there are loads of different options that you could make this in. Great for stash busting. Again, a good batch make one. It's only £3 for this pattern, so it's really reasonable. And yeah, you can make them for everyone in your family, and I think that would be a really nice. It's one of those patterns that looks, it probably wouldn't take you that long to do actually. So, and as I said, if you were making lots of them, you could just kind of do each stage and batch it and kind of have them all done. So yes, I thought that was a really good option for a tricky person. Another option for a tricky person is the Name Delia beanie. A beanie hat, crowd pleaser. Everyone needs a hat in their life. It's very simple shape-wise, and it's a kind of really classic shape. So I think if you've got someone who you're really unsure about, if you make it in a quite a kind of plain colour, like inoffensive, it's a very inoffensive, useful present. So this is again a PDF only pattern, But again, you could make these for everyone in your family. If you wanted to all have matching Christmas hats, this would be a great option. Yeah, so I thought that one would be really useful. Last but not least, I've got a whole accessory section. The one I decided to narrow down was the Merchant & Mills Autumn Bag. I love this. I think it's really useful, and I think there's a lot of uses for this bag. So if I show you the line drawing, you can see it's this really big, deep bucket bag. It's got handles that go kind of over your shoulder. The thing I like about this is that you could use this in loads of different ways. I think this could be used as a laundry bag. I think this could be used as a weekend bag. I think it could be used as a great place to store toys. You could have it in a children's room, shove all the toys in, hides everything. You could use it even actually on the kids department, you could have it as a nappy bag. So you gift to someone who's having a baby. There are just loads of different things, and it's such a classic shape that you can use it in loads of different ways. So this would actually be quite, now I'm thinking about it, would be also another good option for a difficult gifter. You can use it as a shopping bag. You know, the world is your oyster. You have it as your bag where you keep all your gym kit in, and it's really nice and big. And yeah, and again, especially with a simple pattern like this, it's all about picking the right fabric, but you could make loads of these for different members of your family and make them in different fabrics, and they'd all look totally different, which is a win. So I hope that was useful. Do go and check out the blog post. If you've got any thoughts of patterns that you have made for your members of your family or friends that has gone down really well, do share down below, because let's be honest, we're all in this Christmas making last minute chaos together. So let's share and see what went down well. And yeah, let me know what you think. I hope it was useful. So we'll be back soon with another video. Bye.